has always been based on two things: presenting a fun, free-scoring game of football and unparalleled authenticity. FIFA 19 takes a small step forward in terms of the former, adding a handful of gameplay tweaks that refine the well-trodden FIFA formula rather than reinvent it in any significant way, but a huge stride forward with the latter, thanks to the inclusion of the Champions League. FIFA 19's gameplay innovation is precision control, which, when used effectively, creates new openings through subtle movements, body feints, and fancy flicks. But for every slick piece of control, there's an equal moment of miscontrol as the ball gets away from you. However, once mastered, the free-flowing football creates some of the game's most eye-catching, satisfying moments. Similarly, there's an extra layer to finishing that works much like Gears of War's active reload mechanic to add a level of risk to any potential goal threat. Get it right, and the shot will fizz like a rocket, and although it doesn't necessarily guarantee a goal, it certainly improves your odds. However, get it slightly wrong and the player embarrassingly fumbles the shot. Overall, this system can feel like the reward doesn't justify the risk when shooting the traditional way still works so well. Elsewhere, passing accuracy is a lot less automatic. While the resulting imprecision takes some getting used to, it's a rewarding and welcome improvement over the laser precision passes of FIFA 18. Pace is also no longer as easy a route to goal, and even a player as quick as Leroy Sané will need to check back on occasion when a chasing fullback catches up to him. This puts more emphasis on finding and using space properly, rather than relying on a player with 96 sprint speed to win matches. Strength is also now a much more useful tool for winning and keeping possession of the ball, but as a result, the agility stat feels slightly sidelined. This slower pace results in a much more robust game of football, and ultimately a much more authentic one, befitting of FIFA 19's lavish presentation. The fidelity of that presentation has long been FIFA's calling card, and the addition of the Champions League is welcome, taking away the one licensing bragging right that Pro Evolution Soccer has always had over its perennial rival. All of the pomp and circumstance of Europe's premier club competition is present and correct. That authenticity goes beyond the Champions League too. There are 16 new La Liga stadiums, along with carefully reproduced atmospheres that fill them with life. Plus, Tottenham Hotspur's new stadium is included, even before construction on the real thing has been completed. The players inside the grounds look better than ever also. They move more fluidly than ever, appearing to sense and react to the ball and the players around them. Defenders will back into opposition forwards to shepherd a ball out of play, and will attempt new ways to trap the ball if it comes to them at an awkward angle, making them feel more human as they naturally adjust to each situation they find themselves in. The new licenses have been woven into every game mode possible. The Champions League can be played as part of the career mode, and can also be found in the kickoff menu, with each stage available to play separately. Integration with Ultimate Team in the form of live content updates is promised as well. FIFA's kickoff mode has been long stagnant, offering little other than standard exhibition matches, but this year it's undergone a substantial overhaul, with 9 new game modes available. The most memorable can be found in the House Rules option, which is FIFA's answer to Overwatch's Arcade. These match types introduce new rule subsets to the core 90-minute match experience, and do so to varying levels of success. Some are ripped straight from the playground, like headers and volleys, while others bring a more anarchic edge to the beautiful game, like No Rules mode. With no offsides, fouls or bookings enabled, this quickly descends into chaos, and there's no denying it's a whole lot of fun. The most enjoyable of these new additions is Survival mode. In short, it consists of players being randomly removed from your team after you score a goal, theoretically giving the trailing team the advantage. The evolving games this creates makes it genuinely tactically interesting in a way that a standard match can't provide. House Rules as a whole is a welcome breath of fresh air that contrasts against what the traditional matches continue to do so well. True, it's unlikely many of the modes will hold much appeal in the months after release, especially because they're exclusively and bafflingly available offline. But they're a welcome addition, especially considering both career mode and pro clubs remain virtually untouched. Ultimate Team is also fairly unchanged this time around, controversial microtransactions included. The only addition of note is Division Rivals, a mode that allows you to compete against others of an equivalent skill level for weekly rewards. It provides more structure for your time with FUT, but it doesn't really add a great deal. The journey also returns once again, now in its 3rd year of Alex Hunter's story, with a 16-hour campaign that's more soap opera than Sopranos. The Journey Champions tells 3 separate storylines, one for each of the 3 protagonists, as they tackle their own challenges. Alex the Galactico is adjusting to stardom in Madrid, his teenage sister Kim's battling between being a World Cup star and finishing her schoolwork, and Danny Williams, a parody of a Premier League footballer, is at odds with the people that surround him. This story, which can be played as one complete interwoven narrative or split split into 3 separate threads, is bookended by some of the most compelling scenes in any of the journey modes so far, but suffers from a second chapter that's way too bloated and is crying out for some variety. It's especially disappointing that none of the new House Rules modes found their way into the mix. Disappointingly, choices you make seem without consequence, with key decisions having little impact. In truth, it's a heavily scripted story hidden behind a thin veil of choice, both on and off the pitch. With a plethora of new modes and some significant gameplay tweaks that make ball control more convincing,